I ain't never got on live chewing before. That's new. But I'm hungry, and I'll explain later. But welcome back. Another live stream, super high fi episode of PSA, the Mental Health Podcast, the live stream. Now, what I will say about this is, what was I about to say? I will say that today we got a few topics we're gonna talk about, and also I'm gonna just go ahead and let y'all know. Now, usually I let it be known at the end of the live stream, but today, this week I'm not dropping a new episode, so I'm gonna actually, and this is a message to somebody. Somebody need to hear this, especially somebody like me with over 200 episodes. Everybody haven't heard all the stuff you drop, and although this season I felt kind of bad because one thing I'm known for is consistency. Like throughout my seasons, I probably missed 5 weeks total in season, and I'll go from like February to like December, and I may miss 5 weeks total. And this season, I've probably missed almost probably 3 or 4, well, probably just 3 times coming up with this week, and it's only 11 episodes in. But somebody needs to know this. Everybody don't know you. You're not a podcast mogul yet. You might be one in training, but you ain't one to where they can say, "Oh, that's the podcast mogul." Most people don't even know who you are the way yet. So don't let that upset you. Keep that just as a point of reference where if you do want to skip a week, you can, but also repurpose those old episodes and those old content and that old content, because that's what I'm doing this week. I got an episode from season 4 with Sean Anthony, and he was hot then, but he real hot now. So I'm like, let me repurpose that, take a little break, and do it like that. And plus, it's the holiday. I mean, I still could drop it. I mean, we ain't supposed to celebrate 4th of July, no way, which I really don't. But if somebody give me a hot dog, I'm going to eat it. If someone give me brisket, I'm going to eat it. I'm not going to say, oh, I can't eat that because it's the 4th of July. So maybe y'all got the discipline, I don't. Either way, we got a few high-fire topics we're going to talk about today. And I actually had 2 guests who are also both podcasters. Now, the last time I had 2 guests, they were in the same. I lied. I just lied. They weren't in the same room because I had 2 podcasts on this separately. So I just lied. Anyway, let me just introduce them and let's get started. What is going on?
What up? What up?
What's good with you?
All right. So obviously I can see your name and the people, I want y'all to introduce yourselves. I don't know which eyes are looking from either angle, but y'all can introduce yourselves, say who you are, what y'all do, and where y'all from.
Marvin, you could go first.
All right then. My name is Marvin Adams. I almost gave y'all my full HR introduction of myself. I almost told my whole where I'm from, my city, and all that. But my name is Marvin Adams. I am one half of the Samurai Professionals podcast. The podcast where 2 young professionals bring issues together and we chop it up. That's my normal spiel, so I just couldn't help myself. The man, I don't know what direction he's in
I'm below
opinion.
you right now.
Okay,
Yeah, okay,
we'll go with that.
Okay.
Okay. So the man below me can only be.
It's Frank, not your man Candy Savage. It's a whole spiel I do on the podcast, but I'll keep it brief on this one. Marvin and I are from Miami. We've been friends for a long time, probably well over 20 years at this point.
Almost 25.
There you go. Been podcasting for a minute. Past 4 years now?
Yeah, we started during the pandemic when a lot of people started podcasting. We was all sitting in our homes and ordering. Where's that? Do I have that microphone behind me somewhere? I have my first mic that I bought. And we just started a podcast. We literally started the week of like the day after George Floyd passed away.
Oh wow.
And yeah, it was like
revolutionary.
Yeah,
we needed an outlet to get our thoughts out. I mean, we was on social media heavy, but it's only so much you can say on Twitter with the character limits and everything. Yeah. And Marvin, like I said, me and Marvin been friends for a while, and he's somebody who brain I like to pick, and somebody who is a good person to vent to, and he feels the same, vice versa. So one day we had the idea, like, why not just get our thoughts out on the podcast and share with people? If they feel the same way as we do, they can chime in or they can listen in or whatever. And it's been growing ever since, and we have fun doing it. So,
well, that's the
it's
main
a labor of love. It's a labor of love. Like Izzy was telling everybody earlier. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody know I'm not a podcast mogul yet. You know what I'm saying? And I was the person you were talking to. I needed to hear that. You know what I'm saying? Because it'd be times because you do seasons, we pod year round, and it'd be days where I almost think about like, man, maybe we should just do seasons, focus on a couple topics, block it out, and so we at least give ourselves the out to have those breaks. But you said something that was really important, and I took it as give yourself grace, and I'm gonna give myself some grace. So
no, for sure.
Thank you for that. That was a word.
Yeah, no, for sure. I appreciate because like I said, I was speaking to myself, like I said, in the thing because it just felt like I do have so many episodes, and even when I repurpose sometimes the older episodes from season 4 and 3 and 5, and I'm on season 8 now, and them be sometimes getting more views and sometimes some of the stuff I'm doing, and that just goes to show that content back then still need to be pushed too. And I might even make it to where I might do 3-week episodes, drop 3 or 4 consecutively and say, okay, we'll take a week break just so I can really bring light to them old episodes and stuff. So yeah, somebody, like I said, somebody needs to hear that for sure. What was I about to say? Okay, so we got a lot to talk about today. I think I'm gonna start off with the easiest topic because it's the shortest video I have. It was from Jamie Foxx. So all y'all know, last year he was sick, and he got sick out of nowhere. Coincidentally, around the time when Who Cloned Tyrone came out, and so I'm gonna share a screen and watch this video real quick. And it's just a quick video of him opening up about the health scare, but we're gonna talk a lot about it, so be prepared for that.
April 11th last year, bad headache. Asked my boy for an Advil. I was gone for 20 days. I don't remember anything. So they told me, I'm in Atlanta, they told me, my sister and my daughter took me to the first doctor. They reported in the show. Next doctor said, something going on up there. I won't say it on camera. I won't say it. Yeah, I won't say it on camera. But it was.
Okay, now I'm not gonna lie, that was hard to hear, and I expected to see the captions because the captions was there earlier. But for those that don't know what he said, I'm gonna break it down because I could hear him. Could y'all hear him?
A little bit.
Well, break it down for us.
He basically said that he asked somebody for an Advil, and then boom, he was gone for all them days. And then he was talking about how he just thought he had a regular headache, and it came to be something else much bigger than what it needed to be. I'm gonna get into we're gonna unpack all of it, but let's start off with the first part, which is what does this have to do with mental health? Now, I think as Black people, and especially all of us here are Black men, not me though. When I say this, hold on, wait. When I say
you're not a Black man.
Wait.
No, just what clarity were you making?
Listen, wait. Okay, they can't go wrong. So obviously, all of us here are Black. That's funny. All of us here are Black men. Now, as Black men, we as a group tend to put off going to the doctor. Now this is where the not me comes in. Not me. I'm actually very big on that because I ain't got time. I would hate to, them people that look up and they live in their regular life and they like, you got 6 months to live, and it's like this all could have been avoided if you got your regular checkups. You know what I mean? I actually go get my physical every year like a little kid. I remember I usually go around Christmas time. But last year, some stuff happened. I ended up actually having to go to the doctor twice and got blood drawn twice in October. So it still ain't been a year. I said I want to go again beforehand, but I do know I was able to. I did reverse high blood pressure and high cholesterol. I've been working out, but it was mainly diet and just so I did that. But I think sometimes as Black people as a whole, but especially as Black men, we think like, what we don't know won't hurt us. So I think we even have that theory when it comes to health as well. I don't know why. I don't know what that's about. So I'm gonna start with Marvin because you look the most like you got the most to say. So what's your take on this, and how do you think this relates to mental health?
When you went like this, I was like, you calling me fat because he lost some weight. No, it's all good. It's all good. You eating healthy, doing your thing. You were saying something about how we I don't know if you tie this to how we always have to come across as very strong.
Yeah.
We always have to come across as very invulnerable because that's just kind of what's been placed upon us since we were children. Not just physically, but emotionally, we got to be this rock the solid person for the rest of the world. And I don't know if that also plays a part, but I mean, you did say something like, man, how often do we just, hey, if I don't know it, I'm good. Hell, half of us don't go get tested because if she ain't got it, we good. Or if he ain't got it, we good. You know what I'm saying? Like, we go out of our way to not do certain things because being oblivious is a safer space for us sometimes.
Yeah.
Ignorance is bliss, is what they say.
Always.
Okay.
So that's my take.
Frank, you want to add anything?
No. I was like that. I'm not gonna lie to you, where I wasn't very proactive when it came to my health.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of those things. I used to treat my health like most people treat their cars. If it ain't making no sound, if it's still running good, it's good.
The light ain't on.
If the check engine light ain't on, I ain't worried. Yeah, I was like that. And if I could be a little open with y'all, I had a family member. She passed away, and she wasn't aware of health conditions that she had. Mm-hmm. And it took something like that, unfortunately, to be a wake up call to say, hey, you know, although that check engine light ain't on, something still might not be right, you know? Yeah. And today, actually, I had an appointment with the cardiologist. And one of the questions was what brings you in today? And it was like, look, it's just a checkup. Like, I feel fine. Like, they took my blood pressure and everything came back fine. But it's like, I'd rather know I'm okay and be certain when y'all tell me I'm okay versus just moving in ignorance, thinking that, okay, well, if my breathing ain't tough, or if I'm still dieting fine, like, I'm okay. So I'm glad to see Jamie Foxx is doing better now, but I can only imagine to one day wake up and realize that it's 20 days later. 20 days is a long time. A lot of life happens in that span of time, and I can't even begin to imagine how scary that is to say, damn, the world went on without me for 20 days and I don't even know, you know, what took place during that time.
Yeah, and then you almost got that extra layer of celebrity where you wake up and not only where, you know, your family was trying to protect you, but you got all these people all over the world, not that they care, but they just want to know. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, that's a whole different level of stress. And now the stress you putting on your family members, trying to keep things quiet. You got to, not just you got nurses, doctors, everybody walking in and out of the room, seeing Jamie Foxx, seeing Izzy, seeing Frank laid up in the bed, sleep, seeing you all sorts of ways because you've been asleep 20 days, but you've been using the restroom. You know what I'm saying? Like, you wake, like, you know, like, people could have got you in so many vulnerable spaces. That's a lot to wake up to.
And then
not even know. Yeah.
And the rumors your family have to deal with on your behalf. Yeah, that is tough.
And he mentioned, you know, he mentions Who Cloned Tyrone, which is literally right around, it came out right around that time, and everybody, oh, that's a Jamie Foxx clone, and this and that, which is so stupid how people connected that shit. See, I did it. My bad, Izzy. No, I know. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy how people connected that to someone who was like fighting for their life, like
actually going through something.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Okay, let's go to the next segment, which is what would I do in this situation? So in this situation, obviously, I think I'm borderline hypochondriac, so this won't ever happen to me because I'm
never say never. Never say never.
I'll never say never, but it's gonna be very hard because I'm the slightest bump. What's that? You don't know how many times I went to the ER or set an appointment with my doctor, and they'll be like, "I think I had this," and they're like, "Okay, so what are your symptoms?" I say, "I saw this." I said, "Okay, and what else?" I'm like, "That," and I'm like, and then they'll check me. It's happened so many times to the point where it's like, they like, "You okay?" You know. But I do know that, again, I think it's an older generation thing. And also, me and my mom actually had this conversation the other day because I know these older black men in my family. They said, and my mom was like, "That's just an old black man thing," where they'll be like, "I can go to the doctor and die tomorrow." I'm like, what is up with old black men's obsession?
What are you racing to?
Like, what your obsession with them? Like, I could go in here, they could say I had this and I got 6 months to live. I'm like, why are you happy about that? Like, it's like, do you not realize that's not okay to think like that? And they think, but apparently from those generations is a little normal. I just turned 30, literally. I'm not even a month in the 30. So
happy birthday.
Thank you. These people are like, you know, 55 plus that talk like that, but it's just like, I just think that, but in this situation, I can say this, and then we can each say what will happen. But I'm gonna have to speak on from the angle of Jamie Foxx, because I can say I wouldn't. Like I said, I never say never, but in reality, I probably won't. But if I was in that situation where I was out for 20 days, because just imagine not even being at work for 20 days, like it'll be a whole new job. But I would probably just have to sit and just process everything. I would need somebody to sit with me and just kind of like explain what didn't happen. And then my thing is 20 days. What about them people that was knocked out for like 6-7 months? So in this situation, I were him. Here we go. This is the point. I would use this as a point of reference to maybe start some type of campaign, start some type of, you got the money for it. This your blow your nose money. Start some type of campaign, some type of foundation for men and health. I think this is the perfect time to do it. In the post-pandemic world, you would sleep for 20 days. I think this is the perfect time for him to do something like that. So what should I take on that? I'll start with Frank.
I think to become an advocate for men's health would be a good look from the business aspect. But from the personal aspect, the first place my mind would go to is have this be a wake-up call to understand how quickly life can change or how life can abruptly stop.
Right.
Just make sure my affairs are in order. My kids are okay. If I have a will, make sure that's all in place. And then once all those things are taken care of, and once I become more conscious of where I'm currently at health-wise with everything, and also mental health, I'm pretty sure that did a toll on where he was mentally. Once I get all those things in order, then yeah, I think it would be a good business. At the end of the day, he is a businessman. I think that would be a good move to, if not start a nonprofit, align yourself with other agencies that are tailored to men's health. Hell, don't they got a men's health magazine?
Yeah.
You could do a spread on that and talk about what you went through and talk about the things that you wish you understood prior to that situation and things you're going to pay attention to moving forward. I don't know if you guys any movies or anything to promote coming out. Last time I checked, outside of that Tyrone movie, he was supposed to be playing Mike Tyson in a biopic. And from the way he described it on the interviews when he talked about it, it sounded like that movie was going to be amazing. So I would use that to create a buzz for myself and then lead into movies. So that way I build up my relevancy with pop culture in the current time. So that would be my approach if I was him.
Okay. Marv, anything you want to add? Or are you good?
That man laid it out. To me, the first thing for me would probably be my family, and just checking on everybody. And Frank said it best: getting my affairs in order. I know I usually, the people in my family are good about the exact opposite of what Izzy is. Like he hear it, he won't go check it. He sneeze wrong. It's like, nah, this shit came out my left nostril. I ain't like that. You know what I'm saying?
I have literally to where that same day, I'll have to call. They be like my friends and family stuff. They be like, just give it 48 hours. I'll give it 2 hours. I'm like, nah, this ain't right.
This ain't right. This ain't right. Let me Google it because something no. You know, so I normally sneeze out my right nostril, but it came out my left, so something not working. But my family has a history of not saying anything to anybody until it's too late. So like I've really been an advocate of making sure I go get my stuff, myself checked, making sure I keep my mother who went through, her own bout with breast cancer. But one of the things I told her long before that was, hey, if something's coming, tell me. Like, don't do it alone. Don't wait till there's nothing that we can do. So I would say I would use that as a wake-up call to just make sure, because we're young. Like, we don't think I need a will yet. I need this, I need that. Like, Frank got kids, so like he probably do have one. His wife is very responsible. She keeps him together. But that's something I personally I do need to do that. You know what I'm saying? I got a couple life insurance policies and I got them going to the right people, I think. But there are things that I think I need to also put in place. And that's where it would be a wake-up call for me. Just having this conversation right now is a wake-up call for me that I probably need to go get some things in place.
For sure.
Yeah. Especially after our last episode when we talked about death, it made me think about that, how, man, maybe it is better to do it when you have all your faculties and everything in place to
100%.
just get it taken care of. Because it's a very morbid topic that as Black men we try to avoid. I just think Black people in general don't really like to talk about death or just making sure your family's straight. But then you hear stories on, you know, somebody passing and then the house is taken by the bank because they didn't have a will or they didn't have a trust or any of that. And it's like, damn, that would suck if I worked so hard to provide whatever I could for my family, for it all to be taken away because of my negligence, you know?
Yeah, you know me, from my line of work, I work in HR and employee benefits. So like I hear that stuff. Like I get calls back from retirees or from beneficiaries who, or assumed beneficiaries who think that money's supposed to come to them. And I by law, I can't tell you your name's not on this paper, but I'm gonna turn it in. Thanks for the I'm gonna turn in the life insurance claim. Thanks though. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I think people, to me, I would just make sure that my family is good. Now, all the nonprofit stuff, I think that's super important. I think we even if it's whether he tailors it to all men or just Black men or whoever he feels is the main target who needs to hear this message of go get yourself checked. Because think about Jamie Foxx is like well put together, works out, does all the things that people are supposed to do. And for that to happen to him, which I'm sure was a wake up call and a shock to him, like I'm just gone for 20 days.
Yeah.
And I probably was, and you know, he still really didn't get into what it was, but I'm gonna assume you out for 20 days, you teetering with life. Like you really, there was a moment there where you might not have ever woke up. 20 days is a long time. So man, that to me, that's the biggest thing. Like making sure my family is good, because once that happens once, and I feel like I'm in good health, what's gonna stop it from happening to me again? You know what I mean? Like, until I get some real answers, how do I prevent this from ever happening again? I don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Let's move to the next segment, which is WWJD, which is what would Jesus do? So in this moment, this is obviously the most ethical and morally correct thing to do. So we kind of already said it, which what would I do in this situation? I think we really hit it, because things we say we would do, I think would be the most morally correct thing to do. Just to add to that, and I'm gonna just jump quick to the next segment, but I would just add to that just to ensure that you, how do I want to say this? We have to watch what we're doing. And I say that sound easier said than done. We really have to watch what we're doing, what we're eating, and where we at. Especially when it comes to health. And I say that because if we really look on the back of the foods that we eat, and we really look at it compared to other countries, have you ever noticed how, like, my homeboy, he was just in Madrid, and he was talking about he went to the McDonald's in Madrid and everything was so fresh and everything was so this, and how here everything is just so processed. So to piggyback off back to what you said earlier about the whole he work out, and see, I think that's a lot of times the issue too, because I got homeboys that's like NFL prospects and they work out and all this, but their diets are terrible. And I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but because there's fast metabolism, they think, oh, I got abs, my body ripped up, I can do this. And it's just like, you killing yourself, even though you just think just because you look good, you know what I mean? You don't realize it. So I think just paying attention to what you eating. Again, everything is okay in moderation, but really just looking on the back. If you look on the back of them ingredients for certain things, you'll really be like, why is it 400 things in this one thing of peanut butter?
No,
like really think about
you're
that.
Right. You're right. I just came back from Belize and I had a Gatorade down there. Just because it was hot and I just wanted a little electrolytes. When I tell you it tastes completely different, and when I looked at the back of the ingredients, it's not that many ingredients in there. Like, it's all that extra processed stuff and all of that. They don't, other places that stuff is illegal.
Yeah.
Like they don't even allow certain colored dye to be in their drinks or their foods. Like it's crazy.
So I think that's pretty much that. I think we really already covered it with that. And so the last segment before we move to the next topic, which is WSMD, which is what should men do? Simple, take care of your health, pay attention to your everything. I always say all the time, God give you signs. There's always signs. Even if you ignore them, there's always some sign there. And like I said, some people maybe take a little too far with me. I might need to tone it back some. And some of y'all get the signs and be like, oh, it ain't nothing. Because if you had if you was peeing fire, you'd be running to the ER. You know what I'm saying? but you overlooking that it's out of all of a sudden you short of breath, or you'll get a random chest pain. You'll look over and overlook that, or oh, I got a little headache. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Like he just said, I went for a headache. And what's to say, I have a hard time believing, I can't speak for him. That wasn't your first headache. Now, I could be wrong, but I just don't believe that was your first headache. I don't. I believe you probably have been getting them more often. You're like, maybe I'm stressed, you know, but I don't know.
And that's the thing. He probably leads a stressful life with deadlines he has to hit for his acting. He probably is a writer and a director. And I mean, he probably wears a ton of hats. So stress is probably something he's grown accustomed to. So whenever he does have head pain, he's not thinking about whether it's a headache, whether it's a migraine, whether it's anything else. It's just, hey, my head hurts. Let me take something to numb the pain. That is it. And turns out, like you said, it could have been something serious from all along. And he's just been ignoring it because it's like, hey, with the type of life I lead, I just need to produce. And if anything gets in the way of my production, I need something to just block that hurdle instead of just addressing that pitfall.
So then this is my question, and we still here. That's crazy. But this is my question. Do you think that men tend to just try to look for things and numb the pain instead of dealing with it as a whole?
Overall.
Yeah.
Overall. And that's not just physical. I think me and Frank had a conversation a few episodes back on our pod where we were talking about how we just we're not really given the space to feel certain things. Like even you were looked down upon if you cried. You were looked down upon if you felt any type of way. Everything was about manning up, because any sort of emotion wasn't you being a man. Any sort of weakness was you not being a man. So you go from the time we're children, it's been ingrained in us to not show it. So it's scary, bro. It's scary.
Yeah. For sure.
Break that cycle, definitely.
All right, y'all. So we got the serious stuff out the way. So now we can get into the other topics that are a little more. The last one is kind of serious too, but it's more of a big question mark. But this one is kind of funny and kind of petty, and it features everybody's favorite troll, 50 Cent. So for those that don't know, Rick Ross got into a fight in Canada, and his baby mama Tia Kemp and 50 Cent have been roasting him. So we're going to watch the video of 50 Cent's response.
I didn't get to see 50's. Thank you.
And then we're going to, I think it ends off with what's going on with him too.
Very unfortunate situation that took place in Canada. And I want to say to everyone, you know, that I hope that brother made it home safely. I hope that he now has a different perspective and a better sense of what to do and what not to do while you're out in the world, you know? That part where the young guy went like, he did this little move and shit and got knocked the fuck out. Like, that does not reflect him. That reflects his camp. And he might need to go get the Dream Chasers or the 305 Killers.
Yeah.
What you doing? Hey, we outside.
Mira.
It's hard. You gonna be a man?
What's the name of my short? Arranca.
Uh-huh.
I'm winning.
I'm winning like 2-3 awards and sitting around the Academy Award.
So what's the next thing? Directing, right?
Fireworks. You got it all 4.
All right. So let's get into that first part first. Going back down the road, what does this have to do with mental health? So first of all, Rick Ross, you know you in the industry, you know that you're in the spotlight. You know, unfortunately, everything you do is under scope, under magnifying glass, however you want to say it. And for Rick Ross, I feel as though he was trying to scoot out the way, but his security guards looked a little scrawny, didn't they? I'm like, you bigger than them.
If you see
a nice way of saying it.
Yeah. If you see the initial
scuffle?
Interaction, the scuffle, he right there on the line. Like the guys standing between him and the guys who initially threw the first swing, they bony. Like you could tell that's event staff. That wasn't bodyguard.
Hey, that's exactly what they look like too.
I imagine somebody came, you know what I'm saying? They called you down, they got your number. Hey, such and such, we need you to come down. We got your yellow t-shirt for you. You know, come put on your yellow highlighter shirt, you know what I'm saying? And just, you know, wave people down when they need to come this way and that way. And now you in the middle of a scuffle with Rick Ross and just
a Hell's Angel.
That's
what the guy was.
You know what I'm saying? In the middle of Canada, trying to separate a big scuffle. Like, I could understand how that wasn't the day you thought you was gonna have. I thought I was gonna be able to just watch some artists play, but now I do want to get up there and play Not Like Us 8 times and play around in Canada. Like, what we doing? Got a little too much dip on your chip.
Like I always say, you play stupid game, win stupid prizes.
Yeah.
If I know I've been talking smack about a dude and I'm in your backyard, I'm not finna show up light in the ass. I'm not finna show up with your event staff as my line of defense to protect me. I'm gonna take a page out of Floyd Mayweather's book. I'm gonna take a page out of 50 Cent's book. I'm gonna have security that's gonna be the most intimidating people in the room. You gonna think twice before doing anything. Have you ever seen Floyd Mayweather's security? You'd be a fool to step to him with them dudes surrounding him. That's
same group of men. If y'all ever remember that one 24/7 episode, who
that moved the car,
up a car and moved it out of Floyd's spot. Like, that's the level of security that he got. They picked up a car and moved it out of his spot.
All his security looked like they over 6 feet and over 250 pounds muscle. Like, if anything, you would hope you rather take a punch from Floyd in that scuffle than a punch from his security guards. That's how they look. And Ross, you got too much money and you talk way too much smack to me moving around like that.
And like I said, mentally though, like I said, I feel bad for him, but in the same breath, you kind of put yourself in that position because you thought you was untouched. And it goes to show you that this is what happens when you think you untouched, because when you think you the most untouchable, that's when you get touched the hardest. And now you getting clowned and your baby mama having a field day and 50 Cent having a field day. But let's go to the next segment because I got something to say about that. So what would I do in this situation? Now, I personally, say for instance, I was 50 Cent. I wouldn't clown him publicly like that. But in the same breath, you can expect that from 50 Cent because that's what he do. That's what he's known for.
He's a troll.
But if it were me as Rick Ross, I would expect that. Me personally, I would expect people to try to clown me, try to like make me feel stupid because it's like this to the outside looking in, and probably even him, is what you get. So, what would y'all do in this situation? If you were Rick Ross or 50 Cent?
If I was Rick Ross, first of all, if I was Rick Ross performing in Canada, I wouldn't have played Not Like Us first. Because as that beef evolved between Kendrick and Drake, you see that it was much deeper than just beef between two men. They had history of throwing subtle jabs at each other back and forth. So it was way bigger than you. Although he had a song about Drake, I wouldn't have performed that song. I wouldn't have played Not Like Us. I would have just left that beef wherever it was. I would have came out. I would have performed the songs that I had to perform. 2, I would have had better security. So I would have did 2 things. I would have had better security. I would have performed the songs they wanted me to perform, whether it's Hustling, The Devil Is a Lie, whatever other song they wanted me to perform. I would have did that. I wouldn't have did no Champagne Dreams. I wouldn't have performed no songs that I collaborated with Drake. None of that. Did my music, take my check, go back home. That is it.
Okay. I'm not mad at that. Yeah, if I'm Rick Ross, you just don't, certain things you don't do, because people always forget fan is short for fanatic, right? So people do stupid things. You don't even put that on Drake and his henchmen, like all of that stuff I'm seeing on the internet, like that. This is just regular people who are a fan of somebody, or just who knows how that scuffle started, because we only going off of what we think started it, which is Not Like Us, because it's the juiciest way to start that story, because why not continue to beef? But regardless, hey, you go into an event in Canada. It may not be Toronto. I believe it was in Vancouver.
Still Canada.
Still Canada.
Right.
You know what you've been doing for months on end at this point. Don't antagonize the situation. But like as he said, when people think they untouchable, you only untouchable until you touched. You know what I'm saying? Like you only untouchable. You only this pristine person until you get touched. Keep security around you. I honestly, you make too much money in this world to not keep at least one heavy with you. You know what I'm saying?
Even when he's in Miami, you should have security with you, dude. Like it's.
And I'm not saying he need to walk around holding his peace, but like have somebody that'll make somebody second guess messing with you.
Yeah, give people pause. If they're going to touch you, they have to plan it out. It can't be easy. You can't be an easy win.
And then if I'm 50, my bad, Izzy. But if I'm 50, he's gonna troll. 50's a troll by nature. Like every character 50 plays in TV is trolls. Like Kanan. Kanan is a troll. Even when he played himself or that fake autobiographical pic that he did for himself, he was a troll in too. You know I know that's who he is, and his baby mama on top of that. She's a troll. The only reason I even know about Tia Kemp, and I mean, I'm not taking nothing away from her. I personally just didn't know of her before her life post Rick Ross.
Right.
But you know that she was going to troll. All Rick Ross can do is, if it's bothering him mentally, go ahead and put your phone down.
Yeah.
Go ahead and put your phone down. Go ahead and put your phone down. Because you have instigated enough that, this one on you. I see Drake already posted a video because it's Canada Day up there. So he's saying Happy Canada Day. He playing music in the background. He says Happy Canada Day and he do a little smirk and laugh. So, people going to have fun with it. You just got to accept that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. So next segment, which is WWJD. So if
all right,
ethically and morally correct for y'all Miami hero, if I saw him down, I would, maybe use this as a point of growth, if that's the word I'm looking for. Look at it as a point of they do glows and grows. Maybe say, okay, maybe use it as a time to say, well, we can do better, because ultimately he did bring this on himself. So that would be as a friend or even as a public figure, I would get on live and say, especially if I saw 50 trolling them, get online and be like, let's use it as a point of, I'm not condoning what you did, but in the same breath, let's use it as a time to not do that no more. And also to show the world and show people, you're only gonna get away with doing something for so long. So you keep trolling, and again, the whole untouchable thing, you kept trolling, you kept going, and now finally, boom, this happened, and now you embarrassed. When you could have just stopped while you was ahead. But this goes to show you greed and to show people never satisfied. And had you would have just chilled out, it would have went over with. But nope, you just kept going. So, we can use it as a point of, growth and say, let's not do that again. let's try to do better next time. But everything tying together. Go back to the first earlier today when we talked about people having those health scares and things. You looked at it like I know somebody, and they're pretty big, and we've had conversations that brought to my attention, like we need to let so and so know, hey, you're getting pretty big. And the thing is, my take on that was, and maybe it's the man in me, I just was kind of like, they gonna know what's up when that health scare comes. And somebody said that's a bad way to look at it, but certain people talking to them is not gonna work, and some people you have to let them learn. So I said it with Rick Ross to tie into this. You gotta let people learn sometimes. So either if you do it again, he just don't care. But you saw what happened the last time, and now you're embarrassed. And you need to stop giving your baby mama ammo, because she's looking for it. Tia Kemp is going to get it.
Every time.
I mean, if you make that a part of your business, where that's how you stay relevant, is you put out music, and in between songs that you put out, you have to antagonize somebody or make a joke about something. Like, this is part of your brand. All right, fine, cool. Because 50 Cent does it. However, if anything, pay attention to how he moves. 50 Cent no go in spaces where he know is purely hostile, and if he does, it's rumored that 50 Cent security guard are ex-Navy SEALs and ex-Army Rangers, so you're not going to touch him. Like, what's the guy? Whack 100 did an interview where 50 Cent was somewhere and word got back to him. He called up some of his quote unquote goons or pyrus or whatever to go jump him. He said by the time we came in the door, we realized 50 Cent was surrounded by ex-military dudes. By the time we realized that, 50 Cent had already noticed us and walked out the back door. He understand, and 50 Cent understands what type of person he is. He understands what environment he's in, and he moves accordingly. Yeah, keep your head on the swivel. So if anything, Ross needs to take that into consideration and just move accordingly. If you're gonna play this game, play it right. Don't play the game, then move like a civilian. It's just never gonna work.
I think too, society, I'm sure they have, but 50 Cent is much smarter than people realize. Like, you know, when we look at, because as a writer myself, like you look at like Issa Rae, you look at Kenya Barris, you look at Tyler Perry, and it's like 50 Cent. One of these things is not like the other. And so you see how he acts, but then you look at his pen and it's like, this ain't, I'm sure he has writers, but I mean, he ain't just paid people to just write everything and then he ain't do nothing. It came from something. So, you know, I just think that people don't give him the credit he deserves because he comes off one way. And I know this is really ain't what we talking about, but I just got to give him his flowers. But also, 50 Cent, I will say he does walk around sometimes by himself. I have seen him, not going to disclose, in Houston because he has a spot out in Houston. I have seen him at the gym that I go to just walking around regularly like he ain't 50 Cent. So
has he disrespected anybody in Houston?
No, he just there.
Exactly.
Right. But I will say it's funny, and this is just it's just funny because like seeing him just walk around, he just look like he not 50 Cent. That just was so funny to me. But I will say I think people don't give his. I think they give his pen credit, but I think he's the type of person people have separated his music from his, like, you know, they always say separate, like when people do some outlandish stuff like with children or something crazy, I always say, well,
the person from the art. Yeah,
I'm not good with that. I'm not good with it
either, but with him, you kind of can, because him as a troll is one thing, him as a writer is one thing, and him as a rapper, the rapper and the troll kind of the same. But the writer, like, he's a person you can separate with, you know, put him in different categories.
See, I put a lot of that under the same bracket because I don't know if 50 is actually putting pen to paper and writing this stuff, but he has a good creative discernment. Like he knows what really is going to work and what's not. Because I'm sure he gets plenty of scripts, plenty of things thrown his way, and he's like, nah. But Power turned into a universe. It worked. He had that other show that I think was on Fox. That from what I hear is pretty good. I never got a chance to watch it, but it was about this guy who was a lawyer and was like trying to get himself out of prison.
Oh, I saw that show. That show is very good.
I heard it was amazing. I haven't gotten to it
seasons. It's I think if that show was on another network, it would have gone farther. It was on ABC, which is a huge network, and I'm trying to remember the name. It doesn't matter right now. I can't think of it. But anyway, that was a great show. It had 2 seasons, and he played a villain on the show.
Because that he has the creative discernment to know what ghost power. He plays the villain.
He either is going to play the villain or the anti-hero. So it's either going to be somebody 100%. That's going to be best, do what's best for them.
Always.
And if he
and that's his brand. His brand is, I'm gonna do what's best for me. It's only about me. I don't even mess with some of my kids because it's about me. You know what I'm saying? That's part of his brand. It's sad. I'm not saying that as a good thing, but it's part of his brand.
As far as his relationship goes with his son, I can't speak too much on that. But as far as 50 Cent the person, as far as separating him from his craft, I learned to view him differently after reading his book. I see 50 Cent as the character. Okay, Curtis Jackson is one person. 50 Cent is completely manufactured. And I think everything we see, whether it's in his music or his television, all of that is done deliberately. Like you said, he has creative discernment. He knows what's going to hit, what's not going to hit. He knows what personality to put out and what people are going to feed into and what not to put out. Everything that we see, that he allows us to see on camera, all of that is pre-scripted and manufactured by him. I don't think we know who he really is personally. Because the way he talks in his book, he's very intelligent and he's very intentional with everything he does. So everything I see from him, even like this little clip here where he's just fooling around talking about Ross, all of that is manufactured. I don't think that is him as a person. I have a hard time believing that's him as a person. Yeah. After reading his book and understanding that every step he took, he did it deliberately.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, what would Jesus do?
Jesus would have better security guards.
Okay, so what should men do? We're gonna skip past that. So in this situation, just know we're gonna end this off, and now we go to the final topic. Which, well, hold on, but in this situation, what should men do? Men should always, don't don't cash a check that your what's the phrase?
Don't let your mouth cash a check that don't let your mouth write a check that your ass can't cash.
Yeah, so you should keep that in mind. If you know, you just be ready for war at all times. And my thing is, if you was ready for war, I just feel like you would have came more equipped than that. That's why I don't feel that you really was. I feel like you thinking I'm finna clown BBL Drizzy, white boy, and now you got to understand though, it doesn't matter how you feel about Drake. Drake is still hood affiliated and still got hood street cred, despite the fact he ain't shoot nobody, but because the hood niggas love him and the hood women, they gon' bet you ain't they messing with you, we got you. He that person. So it's just like, come on, and you Miami. Now they also said that Rick Ross persona was manufactured. I don't know how true that is, but at least with 50, you know what he's doing.
Like going back to what you just mentioned, Drake represents more than just like he's the face of Canada. And if somebody says something about him and it goes unchecked, what he represents, it looks like everybody from that region is a target. So by you being the face of this region, if somebody says something to you, even if I'm not affiliated with you, but the fact that you represents where I'm from, like, okay, I'm from Liberty City. And if somebody were to say, oh, like if let's say Marvin is the face of Liberty City and somebody tries Marvin and Marvin decides not to retaliate, by him not retaliating, it's going to look like everybody from that region is soft. And if I personally don't want to appear that way, although I don't have a relationship with Marvin, I'm going to stand up for him just to show that, hey, we don't move like that. Like, we're not somebody to be treaded on lightly.
Or I understand that Marvin got a lot to lose. So let me go ahead and be the one.
It's one of those two things. You're dealing with a man with a lot to lose, and he I bet he does feed a lot of people in that area.
That's for sure.
You can't, nobody's going to let you bite the hand that feeds him. You mess with him, you mess with me. I can't have that. And again, if you're going to move like that, understand what comes with it. And he's too old to not understand that. Like, that's street knowledge 101 right there. Like,
not just street knowledge. Tie back to Jesus. Jesus walked around all of Jerusalem talking trash to them people about their religion, but he kept 12 around him, though. You know what I'm saying? He kept 12 around him. That's all. Go ahead.
I mean, there you go. I like how you brought that.
Brought that back. But I mean, in reality, with the whole Jesus thing, and I actually read recently, like, or reread, one of the books of Luke, I think it was Luke, and just seeing how, like, he wasn't mean, but he was very stern. Mm-hmm. And I think that sometimes people think that because you're a believer that you have to be soft. And he was not soft. Now, he wasn't going around just like jumping at people, but in the same breath, he was telling them, like, y'all challenging this, but this is not that. And to them, and I remember so many instances that was like, they looked for something to kill him. They was trying to kill him. But like you say, he wasn't by himself. But also, there would say times, not because he was scared, but it would say times, it was wisdom. It was times it would say he retreated to the mountain. So it was just like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You got to know when to flee the scene. And Rick Ross. So men, before we go to the next segment, know when to flee the scene.
Yeah.
All right. So now let's go to the final topic today, which I think personally may be the most controversial. I don't know, because I never know. I be thinking one topic gonna be controversial.
Okay.
So yesterday was the BET Awards. I watched the BET Awards. That's the first one I've been doing that since high school. So we watched the BET Awards, and I don't know, did y'all get a chance to watch it?
So I didn't get a chance to watch the entire awards. I got a chance to watch the part that was most important to me. As a huge Usher fan, I made sure I watched. That was one of the first things I did this morning because I knew that there was a tribute. And I saw, as I was getting ready to go to bed, there was a lot of controversy.
I was gonna say, don't say it, because we're gonna talk about
it. No. I'm gonna let you bring it in.
Frank, what about you? Did you see it or did you hear anything about it?
Much like Marvin, I just paid attention to the Usher stuff. I saw stuff here and there. Like, I saw how they had, Homegirl Glorilla dangling in front of the audience. I saw that. I saw Taraji perform the opening performance that she performed as Kendrick. I saw a few stuff here and there, but the thing I only paid attention to really was Usher.
Oh, and also I want to give her credit because I love her. Victoria Monet, like, did the performance that she should have been able to do all that time ago. I enjoyed it. I don't know about everybody, but I enjoyed it.
But see, I'm gonna give a prophetic word about that with Victoria Monet. When it ain't the right time, it's not gonna work. You gotta wait for the right time. And I had made the joke yesterday with my friends. I said she better than some of the people that get their stuff written for them and just perform it. She write all that stuff for all these people, and then she write her own music, and then she come up with her own. Them be the most creative people. But like I was saying, people be saying like, "Oh, this should have happened to me 5 years ago." No, it's happened to you when it was supposed to happen. Because had it happened maybe even 6 months too soon, it would have felt like a curse. You might not be in the right headspace. You might have not. And that's why I'm happy it's happened for her, but it's happening for her at the proper time. Now, the Usher tribute. So I'm just gonna play from BET because we can't watch much of it. And also for anybody who use YouTube clips on your stuff or show your screen, always remember, play with the timing of it. So if it say speed it up by 1.25 or 1.5, that way they can't hold it against you. But you got to speed it up. Okay. So now we saw a little bit here and there. Like I said, it wasn't too much, but you kind of got the gist of everybody who performed. So I'm gonna get into what does this have to do with mental health, and I'm gonna start from Usher's point of view. Now people in my house was disappointed. They said, Usher, yesterday we're going to have to try again in 10 years. They said somebody made the comment. I don't agree with this, but the comment was made. Y'all got all these B-list singers. Y'all need to. Where's this person? Where's Brent Faiyaz? Where's Giveon? Where is Lucky Day? Where is this? So somebody kept pointing out, and I wish I could have did it, but it was like instances where he was really into it, and then it was times where he was just looking kind of like. Now, I can't speak for Usher. Is that, but as far as mental health wise, first of all, he's happy to get a tribute. Anybody, especially you alive and in your right mind, getting a tribute, because they could have easily waited 10 more years because he's still alive.
It's Usher.
Right, he's still pretty active. Now, I will say that as one of the people, I would have felt the way as one of the performers because they got so much criticism. And it's like, we doing this for Usher. We think we finna kill it. We thinking we killing it. And then for everybody to be so disappointed because everybody kept saying Chloe and Coco Jones was the highlight of the show. And then, of course, Tiana Taylor and then Victoria Monet. But, for all those people who performed, they got like, why are they here? Why are they here? Why are this here? And so I'm gonna say that because I don't want to get too ahead of myself. So I'm gonna start with Frank, and then I'm gonna start with Marvin. What's your take on it? What's your take
on the performance?
Yeah,
overall, I actually enjoyed the performance. I thought all female, which is totally opposite from what it's so unique compared to what they've normally done, where most times we all in our head had it already written. Oh, they're gonna get Chris Brown. They may go get Lucky Day. They may go get Vito or Eric Bellinger, people who he's worked with over time. So, like if anybody is going to embody what Usher is doing, it would be that. I even heard Tank's name get thrown out there, but like Tank, Genuine or Tyrese, those are his contemporaries. Like if you think about it, they shouldn't really be they really shouldn't be giving him a tribute. But for me, the uniqueness of just having all the women, and let's be clear, when it comes to R&B right now, the women are the one who are killing it. Let's keep it a buck. I mean, you got her, Chloe, Tinashe. I mean, Tinashe got that Nasty Girl song, which isn't necessarily my thing, but I hear it. I can't scroll without hearing it. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody they had up there were relevant. It wasn't like they had like people who were like, oh, I can't remember why this person is here. Keke Palmer had every right to be there because I mean, that was literally about her whole story was about Usher and how that thing went down. Now, y'all know, I don't know about you, Izzy, but I love me some Coco Jones. I love Coco Jones. When Coco came out, and I said, this is going to be my favorite part, because it was. She came out, she did to Usher what he normally do to other people. Went, danced upon his wife, all of that. I personally enjoyed it. I know that's controversial, because according to the rest of the world, it wasn't all that. but I didn't go in with a whole bunch of expectation. Chris Brown is on tour. He was touring that night, so I knew he wasn't going to be there. So if Chris Brown wasn't going to be there, I honestly, there aren't too many other people on the list that I thought needed to be there. Personally.
But that's a good point of reference because they probably like, well, we can't get Chris Brown here. We're not finna have. Not saying that them other people ain't good, but we can't get Chris Brown here. Then we can't really do it like we want to. Because it's kind of like I even heard years ago, back to y'all city. It was talking about love and hip hop in Miami, and then I remember Trina had said before they finally got her to do it, they said if we can't get Trina, we're not doing it. So
which makes sense.
Right.
As someone from Miami, if you weren't going to get Trick and Trina, there really is no point to having a Love and Hip Hop Miami. Because half of the other people who were on the show, we ain't really know like that.
And that's how it be.
Respect.
Right. I mean, that's how it be, but it was kind of like that. It's kind of like, we can't get Chris Brown. Let's try something different because we can't tell him to cancel the date that's already set in stone. So it's like, well, we just go a different approach. Frank, what's your take on it?
Everything Marvin said positive about the show, I agree with, except one thing.
Which is what?
You said Keke Palmer had every right to be there.
I didn't think Keke was horrible in her. I thought her performance.
Oh, no.
I thought she was great.
I'm not saying her performance was horrible. That's not what I'm getting at all.
Oh, I think
it was messy because in her personal life, she got into some trouble by being at an Usher concert. So I'm thinking whoever came up with the idea said, hey, let's put Keke on stage during an Usher tribute. I'm thinking, is that not twisting the knife a little bit to whatever issue she got going on in her personal life?
Possibly. But she also put out a song with Usher post that situation, which was based off of the You Don't Have to Call video. So, like, I understand the ties that went into that. That's all I'm saying. And they know, and they know by her being there would be like, oh shoot, from the production side, you know me. That's what my producer brain is. From the production side, I get it.
And I get why I agree with you. I get it. But at the same time, I'm thinking, is it not a little messy?
Yeah, 100%. And we talk about mental health here. I mean, I'm sure Buddy had to deal with that. Oh, she's still out there doing it. Like she can't even, you still can't let it go. You know what I'm saying? You don't ruin my whole life. You know what I'm saying? You don't put me out there as an abuser. But I mean,
and then at what cost? Like, we've already had a very public and ugly breakup, and then you continue to twist the knife. Like, we have a child to raise together. Like, to what gain you doing this? Like, what strain would that put on the family? That if I was Kiki's brother, that's what I would be asking. I'm like, okay, that's a great opportunity. But
don't mess with him either.
What'd you say?
They don't mess with him either.
Her brother, not his brother. I know they don't mess with his brother.
They'll mess with dude. I think she has a restraining order. I don't even think he can get around the kid.
Oh, he can't even go around that family.
No, remember we talked about it on the pod where she got a restraining order. There was a time he was like threatening her around the kid. I can't recall if there was a gun or something involved in the situation, but that she has a full restraining order from him.
Okay, then that kills everything that I was finna argue. Then all right, then dance for Usher then, I guess.
Dance for Usher. Move the next segment. What would I do in this situation? So to end off the whole mental health aspect, people were trying to be the voice of Usher because they were saying he didn't look like he enjoyed it. And then he gave that long speech after, which they cut out a lot of stuff. But we did have an eyewitness who was actually at the BET Awards. My homegirl, she was actually there. Okay. And she was saying he was just talking about a lot of stuff with forgiveness, but they cut him out because he was doing so much cussing. And so he was emotional. And I don't know if it was because he was emotional because he enjoyed the show and thank y'all for the tribute, or he was like, yeah, I could have did better. I don't know what he was thinking.
So I watched the whole like 8, 9, 10 minutes. And his spiel was mostly about like, there's been a lot of people who turned their back on me. I didn't have the best of guidance, but I have a good community behind me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had the best guidance when it came to these people keeping me together when the whole world was saying I was done, I was this, I was that, and I've always found a way to pivot. But he really spoke into that, and he spoke about sound like Frank today. We spoke about.
I'm not gonna lie. In my head, I was like, he ain't saying nothing wrong. Why is he changing it?
Because you know if I add the Frank notoriously is the one that I added a D to the end of an already past
Or
tense word.
S.
Anyway, but he spoke about being a better father and how one of the better things about that his father did for him was not be around when he wasn't at his best. It's one of the best things his dad ever did for him, but that's why he strives to be such a great dad to his children, and why he needs to strive to be a great co-parent. And he called out Tamika and said, I need to be better too for you. You know what I'm saying? So like it was a great speech. Like as a man, as black, like I think we should all go and listen to it. There was a lot of gems in there, but yeah, he was cussing. He was cussing a lot. Yeah. So I saw a lot of people saying, "Oh, Usher must be telling on the industry because they blocking it all out." The industry.
Somebody at my house was saying that, and she was just like, "This is a Trump world. They blocking out everything. They won't let us hear nothing." And I said, "Okay, well, all right."
Hey, man, it is what it is.
And then my homeboy was like, "But Biden in the office." I said, "I was like,
well, you know, Trump's still the president behind the scenes. If you ask the right people."
Man,
according to them, he'd been the president since before he even ran. But anyway,
yeah.
Back to that. I mean, and I was originally gonna cover for this segment the speech, and although we still briefly talking about it, it's something I do want to talk about because I love creativity. I love hitting people with the whole, as a producer, creative myself. Like, you ain't see this coming. Watch this. Hot Wheels beat that. But this was also, do you think, because it was a comment made.
Okay.
This is not, and then Charleston White didn't make it no better, and neither did everybody on TikTok make it no better. I actually saw Charleston White's video last, so don't think he was the one that stirred it. There was a lot of people saying it. One, they said the tribute wasn't that good. They said they could have had better people. We already picked that apart. We said that, you know, it was innovative and it was different. I like everybody that was up there. I really like Childish Gambino though, for real, because he is an artist, even though somebody tried to say he was a B-list singer. But I'm like, he's an amazing artist, like crazy. But you know, I'm just real big on critics who have no credentials. That's my thing. Like, if you're gonna be a critic, I want to see you drop this, do this, and then you don't have. And they always never have nothing. But that's a story for another day. Somebody tried to imply, because we do have to know, there's always ulterior motives with everything. I don't care what nobody says. Mm-hmm. What is your take on the theory that they're trying to push all these women? Well, first of all, they said the BET Awards was a women empowerment award. So they said now one man won nothing except Usher.
Did Kendrick Lamar win?
Yeah, Kendrick Lamar won something.
I know he won. They were trying to
hip hop or something.
They were trying to imply like all women basically ran the show. And then for them to do the whole thing with the Usher tribute, they tried to imply that, I won't be devil's advocate, they tried to imply that it was basically like an ode to the gay community, how they was having all the women basically act like men. And like even the end of the thing where they had Teyana Taylor doing her and Victoria Monet doing that, Charleston White said it's a bulldagger show. That's what he said.
I know he said something terrible. Nothing good ever comes from that man.
Go ahead, Mark.
So just stay with me. So it was an ode to the gay community because we let women be up front. Most of them were dressed overtly feminine and sexy, minus Teyana Taylor.
Right.
She was still sexy.
Still. And that's been a part of her aesthetic since she was Jimmy Nooch on Instagram. Since My Sweet 16. That's always been a part of her aesthetic. She's always been a
tomboy.
So is there an agenda going to push women in the forefront? It could be, but I just don't see how it's an ode to the gay. Like, I just don't know. We always want to create these stretches for things where something bothering us, so we're going to tie whatever's bothering us to whatever we seeing. So because you didn't like the performance, is because it was an ode to gay people and the queer community. Like, you understand? Like, where's the tie? It was all women. If I showed you a picture right now of all the women who performed, minus Teyana Taylor, half of them had barely any clothes on. super feminine. I can see every curve in their body. If you're talking about the gay community, you must be the lesbians. Like the lesbians had a great day, and not even just the like he said, the bulldaggers must have had a great time watching the show. Then, if that's who it's for.
Now I'm a big person on stretches too, but that part was a little stretch to me. Now the other stretch I do agree with, but we ain't got there yet. Now that one was a little bit like I could kind of see where you're going, but I mean, it was a little confusing because it was like. But I get but when you look at it from an innovative point of view, and even you kind of said that where it was like they were trying to do something that was going to be like, watch this, like throw you off. Yeah. But Marsha Ambrose is a fantastic singer, but I don't see why she is friends.
Woo! All right, that's where I if there was any part of the performance that I wasn't a super fan of, it was that part. It was that part. I think she let people. There's a certain that run at the beginning of Superstar.
Who would you replace?
She wasn't the voice to do it.
Okay, so
she wasn't the voice. She's an amazing singer.
That wasn't her. I don't feel like that was for her.
No, a Jasmine Sullivan would have killed it. If Coco wasn't already doing something else, because Coco can hit a high note, but if she wasn't already doing another part, she could have killed it. Victoria Monet could have probably sang it, but that's not. She had already performed. She's just gonna dance at this point. She probably was exhausted. I'm surprised she came out for the tail end of that. But yeah, she wasn't the best choice for that. And she's an amazing artist, by the way. But yeah, I hope that wasn't your stretch. Is that the stretch? Okay, because I really want to hear what that is. I'm excited now.
Go ahead, Frank. You want to say anything before we move to the next part?
No. Well, we could jump to the next segment.
Okay,
because I had some, but I'm not gonna lie to you. I completely forgot what the hell I was gonna say.
Yeah, ultimately with the WWID section, I just think that we should always just first of all, as Usher, I'm sure he's thankful no matter what they did, and he's a super creative, so I'm sure he probably saw the vision, even if nobody else see it. And so it's still one of those things. I would love to pick the brains of the people who came up with that, but it is what it is, and
you know what it is. And I'm gonna say this. You know how like sometimes you're watching your favorite show and they tell you this is gonna be the last season. So in your mind, I have already written the perfect ending for me.
Insecure.
Game of Thrones.
They ruined that. This isn't an example of that. but when I have already written people already Chris Brown, Omarion, like any performer, dancer, singer, they had already pulled together what the perfect Usher thing was going to be. No matter what they got that didn't have that line up in their head, it wasn't going to be great to them anyway. And Black people especially, love to rag on the BET Awards. Now, mind you, we talking about why was it all the women up front and why was the women at the forefront? Let's be honest, how many of the men was there? Because when I looked in the crowds, I ain't really see too many other than Tyrese and Usher. Name me some of the other Black men stars that were there. Kendrick Lamar wasn't there to accept his award. What y'all want? But go ahead. I'm really interested. Now, Izzy got me. I'm gonna sit back in my seat and be quiet. Go ahead.
All right. So WWJD, what would Jesus do? So ethically, morally correct. We already went over that, and I'm gonna go over it again. So just the world we live in now. The Women Empowerment, BET Awards, whatever you want to call it. And again, this is nothing wrong with women winning or nothing like that. But it was pointed out, and I actually agree, it was just like we've just become so desensitized as a community with certain things. And it's just like everything is so hypersexual. Everything. And it's like people have sex. People, it was always back in the day where it was like, you had the Lil' Kim, you had the Trina, they was sex. But it's like every female artist, and I get sex sales, but it's just like every female artist, it was just like somebody made the comment, it was like softcore porn. And it was just like, let's think about that.
I see where
it's like, not really, But then I have to look at my mind because if when I first heard, I said no, it's not. But then when I really sat and thought, I'm like, dang, I think I'm desensitized. Like we really don't realize how much stuff is normalized.
Janelle Monáe, I mean not Janelle Monáe, Jesus Christ, but I mean she always do wild stuff too. But Victoria Monet did actually pretend to ride Tiana Taylor. It caught me off guard at 6:30 in the morning. And I was like, oh, shoot. And then my brain moved it past. It wasn't until you brought it up again that I haven't even thought about it.
And see, you don't even think about it.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
I'm not going to say it's a side. I mean, I'm just going to say for the men, we just like, oh, this is normal. And it's so crazy because, like, we kept thinking about the BET Awards from 2005. We kept bringing that up for some reason in my house yesterday. And I'm like, this would have never went down like this.
Why that year of all years?
I know, like, why 2005?
Because they was like, that was the last real good one. I'm like, I don't know. I think 07 was a good one. And that was the one.
Y'all must really like BET Awards. I couldn't tell you.
He said since high school.
So they was just thinking about the old ones. They was like, but I ain't gonna lie, when Sexy got on stage and then we saw the audience and it looked like we in the hood now, baby. Everybody was like, "Nah, that's the BET Awards we remember," because that was the whole.
Okay, when Sexy Red come on, now that's BET.
No, because it was
that's what you said.
The audience, how the audience was looking, it looked like I said, because
we up now.
Yeah, that's how they were turned. But I think that we've just been so desensitized to things that we think that certain things is normal. I mean, of course, we can go with G violence. We can talk about that, but we ain't gonna go there today. Well, we can kind of with Angela Simmons and the purse, and it's just kind of like
talk about that for a second. Real sidebar. So growing up, I used to be in love with Angela Simmons. Frank knows this. Frank knows this because he sent it to me because he's a hater. So Frank knows I grew up. I used to be in love with since Run's house.
Yeah,
since Run's house, and then I don't know. No, not to her. It's just over time. It's like I don't know what that was with the gun. I guess it's a bag, a purse.
It's a purse.
But she kept pointing it at people, and I'm like, "Hey, in the wrong setting, this could go extremely left." I seen somebody say Rev Run is rolling over in his tub right now because of this. So that's just weird. And you right, you are who you around.
Yeah.
So who is she around to be toting the gun purse?
Yo Gotti.
Yo Gotti.
She's still with him?
Yeah.
And she be
I don't pay attention to her like that. I don't know.
And she be with Glorilla and all of them and dancing. So I'm sure they just be having them a hooting and hollering good time. But
I think Glorilla is a good time.
I bet it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought I'm just like, Angela, really? And then and then somebody brought up today like yo baby daddy died from G violence, and it's just like
it came to my mind too.
Yeah, and it was like, what we doing? Wow. But ultimately, just to end that off this segment off with the whole Usher and everything, I think that if I give my honest opinion, do I think it should have been better? I think it was great. I just would have liked it, huh?
I think it could have been better.
It could have been better. I just would have liked to see the men that were inspired by him pay homage to him. That's what I would have liked to see, because if you saw Usher did a thing to Michael Jackson did something with James Brown, would have made sense for Chris Brown and all the other ones. And you say it ain't that many, but it is a handful. They just not, they mainstream, but they ain't like super, super mainstream. But they'll be there. You know what I mean? They
Give
could
me
do
five.
it.
Give me five.
Giveon
is inspired by Usher.
I don't know, but is Tinashe inspired by Usher?
You said something. You said like, yeah, you right. You right. You know what I'm saying? You ain't wrong when you right. Go ahead.
Lucky Day, obviously Chris Brown, Luke James. It's some others on the they there. I just think
Bellinger. Yeah.
I just think that Chris Brown should have been the finale. They should have said Chris Brown will end it off. But again, he was on tour. And I really feel like when they found out he was on tour, they probably wrecked their original plan. That's what I believe. But that might just call me a conspiracy theorist, but I'll take that title. It's fine.
It's all right.
So WSMD, what should men do in this situation? Well, ultimately, you should be grateful for whatever anybody do for you, I guess.
Yeah, we don't get people do much shit for us anyway.
we don't get our flowers. You know what I'm saying? Like, men really don't get their flowers. So I actually was watching this video the other day where like this dude, he handed this dude some flowers, and he said he gave him a note, and he opens the note around a bunch of men. Now, this could have been acted out, but if they did, it was done very well. He opens the note, and he was like, you are appreciated, and I just feel like you may need to hear that. He just does this to random people, but he gave it to him, and dude holding a bouquet of flowers with his friends literally started to tear up.
Yeah.
And you never know what people going through that day. So you know what? If you getting praised, accept it while you can. Now, could we do something for Usher 10 years from now when Chris Brown got a little bit more time and they ain't just have a scuffle a couple months before? Because I mean, that did just happen. Remember the whole Tiana Taylor, Usher, Chris Brown situation? That did just happen the other day. So
hopefully this year.
It was last year. It was just last year.
You know what I think gonna happen? I think MTV gonna one up them. MTV when they do their awards or
Video Vanguard.
And they gonna do it up. They're gonna say BET didn't do it. Them niggas ain't do it, but us over here, we gonna do it.
We got the money. We gonna, even though they same company,
Viacom.
But you know what? We got the budget. Hey, we gonna get everybody.
Yeah, the budget might be different over there.
Yeah,
because honestly, the person who I thought was gonna show up, person who probably owes him the most, was Justin Bieber. I didn't see Justin Bieber. I thought at least if anybody from that group of those inspired by Chris Brown could have showed up, I thought Justin would have been the one. Because BT good to give you that one little white person. They good to give you that Christina Aguilera, that one that Justin Timberlake, who like you got a little flavor for us. We mess with you this year.
Me personally, even though they actually talked the least about him, but I actually thought Childish Gambino was cool there. I did. I thought it was different. I thought it was good to show his artistry, and I thought it was a great start. He did a great start up to it because he ain't finna be dancing. So it was a great start up to him, like singing.
Bruno
you know what I mean?
Could have killed it.
That's what I'm saying. He could. I think it would have been good to have like different male vocalists who are different, have different styles, because it's so funny how one person can inspire so many people. Like so many people was talking about how they was inspired by Brandy. So many people they was inspired by Beyonce, and all have different styles. And Britney Spears was inspired by Janet Jackson, and didn't not hearing it as an adult, you look back and like, oh, I can kind of see it now. But back then, I couldn't see it at the time. I was just, but now I can kind of see it. So I think that would have been good to see. But like I said, MTV, if you're listening, here you go.
Come back to Izzy and get
it. Yeah, come back. Here you go. So that's pretty much all I got this week. Like I said, y'all know what's up as far as my podcast. We just gonna replay an old episode. But anything y'all got coming up, anything y'all want to spread or let everybody know.
Look, we both looked at each other. Frank getting ready to go on vacation. So actually, we actually just released an episode this Monday. Now we're on this live episode. So this is y'all episode for next week. Y'all come get on Izzy page, watch it, rewatch it, put it on in your backgrounds when you cooking, when you cleaning, when you at work.
On your drive to work.
Yeah, this is your daily dose of the Samurai Pros.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what we got coming up. Also, hey, like, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna do all the YouTube stuff. Like, comment, subscribe. Come to our page. Look at some backlog stuff. Dive into the catalogs. Let me tell you, Izzy got 200 plus episodes. We got 168, which is crazy for us. We shocked by that on a daily basis. But go dive in. We it's a labor of love. We keep telling y'all. We do it for us because a lot of times we ain't getting a lot of money for that. This for the love. This for the muscle. This off the muscle. So that's what I got to say.
Okay.
Francis.
Follow Marvin at Marvin X Adams. Follow me at I Can Only Be Frank. We're pretty active on Twitter. There's a lot of topics that we don't get to on our pod. Every now and then we'll discuss it on Twitter or whatever. But more importantly than that, we love to engage with people. So if there's anything I've said on the show that you might disagree with, bring it to me. Anything Marvin said that you don't disagree with, bring it to him and tag me so we could jump him. So that's it.
That's
you know what I mean?
How it works. That's typically how it works. And check us out on all socials at the Samurai Pros. We're on TikTok, Instagram, all of that. I think we've plugged enough, Izzy. Go ahead, do your thing.
And on top of that, Izzy, we want to say thank you for allowing us on your
100%.
platform and share this moment with you. We truly appreciate it. We respect what you do. We enjoyed listening to your show. And more power to you, boss.
I appreciate that so much.
You said something last week that I just want to make sure. I literally wrote it down, and I said, and it says, if you was reaching for the stars, if you was reaching for the sky back then, reach for the stars. And you said you're gonna put that on the t-shirt. I'm gonna tell you, put that on the t-shirt. That's real.
And you know what's crazy? Matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you off air. But I appreciate that. And it further proves the message that I started out with this first episode, the beginning of this episode, with the gems and stuff that you didn't say years ago that you didn't forgot you said, and that's in those old episodes. So we're gonna end it off with that, and I'm gonna discuss with them off air. So PSA signing out. Always remember, keep your head up like your neck hurt. Remember who you are. Make your mind up. Don't let it make you. And remember, I love us for real. Okay.